Let's put 10 minutes on the clock, and look who's suffering on the wall. Eva, Hobart, Jason. So first MWOD today, we're going to do this MWOD based on the CrossFit main site to WOD tomorrow, which is heavy deadlifts and heavy overhead squats. Position is going to be paramount, especially in the overhead squatting. You can't cheat your way out of this with some bad technique or bad form. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on this bottom position overhead squat and limit. And you'll notice all these guys have their feet straight. They're exaggerating that straight foot position, which is really going to wind up those adductors into any position that they can. And then they're going to take the elbows and drive them out. So take your elbows, drive your knees out. We're going to contract, relax there. I'm going to freak out your little minds here. Hold on. And now they're standing up against the wall. That's so crazy. And now they're back. So 5 seconds on, 10 seconds off. And then see if you can move your feet a little bit wider, you guys. Keep pulling butt to heel. Good. Big breath. Drive your knees out. Keep taking up the slack. Hold. 5 seconds on, 10 seconds off. This would be a pretty sick overhead squat position, yay? Can you guys reach back and put your arms on the ground? There's your overhead squat. Look at that. Positioning. And if I twist the camera again, which I will, look at that amazing position. That would be almost amazing. But if we can get those shins vertical, you guys, pull those shins down and see if you can verticalize them to the ground. There you go. Oh, there it is. That would be the overhead squat in a fully compressed position if you could receive in that position. Great. So let's contract, relax. I'll spend a couple minutes here. And then once you guys pop up real quick, dismount. Dismount. That's the new phrase for coming out of the position. I think that's an Eva Claire phrase. So go ahead and try to overhead squat, guys. Is that better, same, worse? Better, same, worse? Nice. Better. In what way was it better? And what'd you say, EC?
More upright.
More upright. That's right. More upright, more better. All right, second piece is we're going to do that hip capsule stretch. And the reason we're thinking this posterior hip capsule is that if we can improve that mechanical advantage, so let's go ahead and choose a leg, guys. Drive that femur through your butt. So they've got the knee on the ground. We're going to try to keep the line of force going through the femur. Exactly. And then we're going to just externally rotate the leg, which means bringing the leg across, just like they've done. And then instead, we definitely don't want, so in this position, it's fine. James has got his leg kind of bent forward, but his line of force, as long as his line of force in the vector is in the direction of the ground. So as long as he's imagining that he's driving all the force through his femur, he can put that wherever he wants. It's a little easier to come forward a little bit. It's a little bit easier if the leg is a little bit more straight up and down to drive it forward, and then really exaggerate that lateral hip capsule. Good. And then because they're unique and special people, they need to go ahead and exaggerate what position they need to be in. So go ahead and just do some scouring in there, you guys. Come in and out, and scour back and forth, press over, come into extension, come into a little bit of flexion. Right? And you'll find that band of tissue that's tight for you. And if you're not in a band that's tight, go ahead and hunt something else. No numbness, no tingling, right? But you'll find, James is a little bit more closed off here than Jay. One of the things that happens is because these guys are kind of resetting this hip and deeper in socket, they're going to have a better hip close angle. They'll be able to kind of close the hip more with less impingement, and then they improve the mechanical efficiency of hamstrings. Go ahead and stand up, guys, and then do that test, retest, where you stand on one leg, stand on the leg you just mobilized, pick your other knee to your chest, belly tight, see how far you can go. Okay, come on down. Don't lean back. Now stand on the leg you did not mobilize and pick your other knee to chest. Yeah, there's a big difference there. And that's one of the ways that we can improve that mechanical impingement that often happens. It's not just I hope it gets better. I hope the cam shape goes away. It's never going to go away. Okay, let's grab a band. And now we're going to prep some upper body stuff. EC, will you grab a single ball? Yeah. Let's go. You guys all grab a band. Let's grab a band first. These guys are just going to throw this right over. You see, your pull-up station is a little taller than James.
Is that a problem?
No, I'm just kidding.
But I'm taller than James.
All right, so let's go ahead and double it up. Hand through, guys. And then with your other hand, go ahead and externally rotate yourself. So take that hand and bias that position. So do that again, Eva. She turns, and then she just holds it. And then she's going to wind down and go ahead and extend and open up the shoulder capsule. And then she can even kick her right leg back. Whoop, and then really tie that lat in all the way to her back. Remember, that lat is responsible for a ton of upper back extension as well as kind of the rest of the business. So if your lat is tight, it's definitely going to limit your overhead position. So we're trying to exaggerate that overhead positioning with just a little bit extra rotation. Don't forget to contract, relax here. Go ahead and get tight. Externally rotate for me. Get tight, hold. Don't let you move you. And look at this position. This would be a pretty sick overhead squat. As Bergner said, the bones are all stacked up nicely, right? You can see what's going on here. And imagine trying to get your head now underneath your arm, you guys. That's great, Eva. There you go. And then you're just going to move your body laterally and you try to open up. And then, I know that wasn't a full minute, but go ahead and let's retest, guys. Come on up. And let's see what that arm looks like. Overhead squatting position. Which side did you do? This side. I'm just kidding. Can you see it, guys? There's a little bit of difference there. What side did you do, Eva? Do it again. Arms up. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can tell a difference, but sometimes it's just practice, right? One side has caught the plague, the other side's looking better. Right? That's a nice position. One of the advantages of this, which side did you do? Of course, and you can see that the difference is that he's much closer and more stacked on this side, and the distance is over there. He's got to work harder on that side, but you can't exaggerate. You can see how much more closed off he is. This is a much stronger rotated position than this side. Excellent. And then last thing, let's go ahead and do the first front rib mob. I think there's a box of balls right over there, guys. First rib. So Eva's going to lay on her back. Just sit up for me, would you? This is her first rib, way up high. And you can think about ribs. People are shocked, but the ribs really delineate the thoracic spine, definition, and the cervical spine. So the CT junction is right there, and that's where most people do a lot of hinging because the ribs tend to get stiff. What we're going to do is we're going to come in and try to put that ball into the first, second rib area. So the ball is going to be right here, and I'm going to have Eva set that ball down on the ground, and she's going to drive her back into the ball. Okay? So she's lifting her butt up off the ground and driving that ball into that kind of first, second rib area. It's between the spine and the scapula. Then she's going to come across her body, arms straight, driving in, and she's going to go right up by her face. And so the line is to try to get that really tight next to the face here, and that's that corner. So we really want to try to get into those corners, right there, and just mobilize in those corners. You see Hobart's crying like a little girl with a skinned knee. Good. So he's rolling around, but he doesn't have to roll around. Instead, we're going to come up. And now, James has unbelievable shoulder flexibility. And so he will figure out a way to dump that torque, but he's going to come up nice and tight and just hang out, arms straight, really exaggerate that kind of close position. Otherwise, you'll notice that he has enough flexibility that he'll just dump out around it. So I want him to get him up and through into that corner, getting that moving. Right? And you see he's gone over to kind of hold his own lat. Excellent. That's a pain face, right? That's minus 10 points for the pain face. Because we don't want to tie his short neck flexors into this overhead positioning. That's what you do when you grimace, right?
Is there a smile?
Smile, absolutely. Zen face. Be a Zen statue. Arms straight. Really press into that corner, and we hit this 1 or 2 times. And we're really going to go after this first rib, but you can feel free to take this down. But let's do 2 or 3 minutes here, exaggerating. And it's difficult, but you'll notice these guys, if they wanted to, they would just blow out torque off to the side. It's not so bad. Oh, it's a bad spot there, which means you can start doing some informed freestyling. I want to exaggerate this tight overhead position, and that's where he's going to be the most limited, straight up by his ear. Over here, you'll notice that he's giving that torque away, and he starts to internally rotate. And in this position, that's that extra rotation. That's the position. So Berg says, show me your armpit. You're like, no problem, coach. And right there, and we'll just kind of oscillate back and forth. And let's stand up and retest, you guys. So it turns out that was a little bit of a significant issue for our guy. And, he has a new baby at home, right? And one of the things he's having to do is hold that baby in the dreaded, show me the dreaded, oh, yeah, that's a good position. There's the dreaded baby shoulder position. And baby shoulder is not so different than, bride shoulder or elite, tactical athlete holding a weapon shoulder. Show me your overhead position. James, does that make a difference?
I did my opposite. I did opposite. So I think they should be balanced.
They should be balanced. Well, they're different. But actually, that helped more important on this side. That really improved that overhead quality in terms of how well he's up and stacked on that side. Eva?
Ta-da!
Demons out! All right. Get ready for some heavy overhead squatting and heavy deadlifting. 4 pieces today. Set the clock for 10 to 12 minutes. Get some work done. Thanks, guys. Woo!
Woohoo!